We're entering the world of fantasy for Disc 106. Released in January 2004 alongside issue 106 of the official UK PlayStation magazine. There are 11 playable demos and 2 net Yaroze games on this disc. This one's for those of you who love a good story to go with your games, which in this case are mostly 3D platformers or adventure games. Let's jump right in and take a look at these fantastical fictional adventures.
Hello. We're not supposed to be here. Look out, Abe! Oh. Something smells. Hello.
Another great repeat demo, this one's Abe's Exoddus. The sequel to Abe's Odyssey, you control Abe as he goes on an even longer journey to put a stop to Gluckons using ancient Mudokon bones as ingredients for their Soulstorm brew. This is a 2D platformer that requires Abe to talk to other Mudokons to help him solve various puzzles, most of which are quite deviant. The demo has you rendezvous with the Mudokon party Abe came in with.
Hello. Hello. Follow me. Okay. Hi. Hello. Hi. Hi. Work. Work. Okay. Okay. Work. Follow you. Hello. Hello. Follow me. Okay. Okay. Hi. Work. Follow you. Hello. Hello. Hi. Hello. 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 Follow me. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Here we go, Excalibur 2555 AD. There's a lot to say about this. This game was designed primarily to compete with Tomb Raider. Problem is, it falls short of that mark. Reviews at its release were not kind to this game at all, with the common criticism being that the combat is mindless and the puzzles being no more complicated than finding objects for NPCs to trade. In the end, most reviewers agreed that the game isn't horrible, but it is boring, especially compared to the game it was trying to compete with. The story involves time travelers stealing Excalibur from King Arthur, so Merlin sends a young warrior into the future to retrieve it. The demo gives you a level to run around in, with a number of voiced NPCs to barter with, and several enemies to attack. Playing this demo did make me want to play Tomb Raider instead, since this level is comprised entirely of small, square rooms with not much in them.
Hey, you! Over here. Hey, you! Got any trades? I've got plenty to offer. Spells, keys, food, all for the right price. But you don't get anything for nothing, you know. I'm quite partial to a drop of grog, but I don't suppose you have any of that. What have you got? Hey, you! Over here.
The next demo is for Fade to Black. This is a sequel to the 1992 game Flashback. The game is about hostile aliens called Morphs who attack Earth. So the player controls Conrad Hart, who destroyed the Morphs' home planet in Flashback, but has now been caught by some of them and sent to their lunar prison. Gameplay is a 3D action adventure shoot-'em-up, with some puzzles. Reviews at release were decent, with many critics praising the graphics and the gameplay. I'd question why they skimmed over the controls being all kinds of bad, but then I remember that this was the era where developers still hadn't really gotten the hang of fluid movement in a 3D space. Tank controls with awkward and stilted weapon aiming were the norm. Anyway, the demo has you escape from the prison at the start of the game. Become a secret agent in the demo for In Cold Blood. I describe this one as the cross between Metal Gear Solid and James Bond. It's a 3D adventure game where players control John Cord, MI6 agent. He is sent into Russia to assist the resistance movement in stopping a state from invading its neighbours. Gameplay involves solving puzzles using random items and conversing with people you come across, a la Broken Sword. There's also a lot of action and fighting. Reviews were mixed. Many critics enjoyed the setting and story, but felt that the action and adventure were quite lacking. The demo has you infiltrate a giant land train.
Doesn't work. Great. There's got to be another way up. Fire sensor. Could be useful. Came to put the fire out.
I don't see any fire.
Lucky I got here when I did.
You'd better have a good reason for being here, or I'm calling security.
I need your help.
There's nothing I can do for you.
Do as you...
Don't shoot! Please don't shoot!
Where does that platform go?
Up to the main body of this car.
Chinese woman. Where is she?
I don't know who you mean.
Come on. The prisoner from the mine.
They took her to the command car.
Where's that?
At the front of the train.
I'm with the VFF.
Then you're a fool. The train's full of guards. They'll kill you.
Tell me about the guards.
There are a couple in the room above, and plenty of others all over the land train.
Okay. Anything else?
Watch out for the robots.
Thanks. I'll be careful.
They've got one of your people in the sick bay.
What else can you tell me?
I know you're armed, but I have nothing else to tell you.
Help an orphaned fox become a true knight in the demo for Kingsley's Adventure, a medieval adventure game that has a very kid-friendly appearance, but a control scheme and difficulty that only adults could master. Kingsley needs to defeat the evil Bad Custard before he can convert all the kingdom's knights into Dark Knights with his black magic. The game didn't get much attention on release, but what few reviews it did receive were average. The demo has you tasked with recovering a stolen galleon for the local tavern. Get stuck into another JRPG with a demo for Final Fantasy... sorry, force of habit. I meant to say Legend of Dragoon. It is quite easy to see how I got the two confused, considering this game doesn't just dip its toes into the Final Fantasy pool, it straight up dives in head first. Still, they didn't just half-arse it when they designed this game. It took a team of over 100 people 3 years to make it. Indeed, all these years later, the game developed a cult following. So if you're familiar with Final Fantasy and wanted to try some alternative JRPGs, try Legend of Dragoon.
Ever since Funfrock's rise to power, the population has been living under a reign of terror. Funfrock set up a police state where suspicion is omnipresent. He is all-powerful and controls the people with an iron fist. He has at his disposal two high-tech weapons that ensure his power, cloning and teleportation. He can clone any of the species at will and subsequently recruit these clones into his ranks. He can then deploy these clones instantly through a network of telepods that are dispersed over the entire planet.
Now here's an interesting one. Little Big Adventure by Adeline Software. It's an isometric action-adventure game where you take the character Twinsen on a worldwide adventure to overthrow a brutal tyrant who has subjugated the planet using an army of clones that he can teleport anywhere. The game is pretty ahead of its time. It's partially free-roaming, there are many non-linear side quests, and it also has an autosave mechanic, something which is almost unheard of on the original PlayStation, with its limited-sized memory cards and games that force you to make your own manual saves. The demo starts off at the beginning of the game, where you must find a way to escape the asylum Twinsen has been incarcerated in. The only thing holding back this game are the controls. They are clunky, cumbersome and tanky, with 4 different behaviour modes that you switch back and forth between using the shoulder buttons, including normal, sneaky, aggressive and so on. Fill the shoes of a ninja warrior named Kurosawa as he rids feudal Japan of an unspeakable evil in the demo for Ninja Shadow of Darkness. This game is an action game that has players wander through linear labyrinthian levels, fighting off enemies using punches and kicks, as well as swords and throwing stars. Despite the game being developed by the same team behind the Tomb Raider series, this game only received mixed reviews from critics at the time, mostly because the gameplay, graphics and story are all kinda dull. If you want to play a good ninja game on the PS1, try one of the Tenchu games instead. You've crash-landed your ship into the Forbidden Zone. Can you escape? Or die trying? Another 3D adventure game, this one tries something different with multiple characters to play as and RPG elements thrown in. However, despite the originality, the game didn't do all that well with reviewers, mostly for the feel of the controls and the overall difficulty. You get to try one full level in the demo. On to the last demo on here, and it's for Unholy War. This game pits a variety of psychopathic nutjobs from across the universe against each other, having them fight to the death in vicious arena combat. Each character has 3 special moves which require energy to use, represented by a yellow bar beneath the red health bar. And that's pretty much it. The demo gives you 4 characters to try and 1 desert arena. Turn that sand blood red. Jumping into the demo of Wild 9, a run-and-gun side-scrolling platformer. This game's main gimmick is the ability to grab enemies from afar and fling them around into the floor and obstacles with an electrical beam called the Rig. The Rig can also be used to solve puzzles and platform up to higher places. Reviews of the game were favourable, enjoying the Rig, but considering the rest of the game to be not much more than basic platforming and item collecting. The demo has you get through the Gulag level. Now let's take a look at the net Yaroze games. The first is called Squeak, and it's a Bejeweled clone. I guess that's pretty neat. Basically, you move pieces of fruit around in order to get 3 of them in a row, which causes them to disappear so more fruit can fall in. There are multiple difficulties to choose from. A very basic casual game, but it's nice that it's here. The second Net Yaroze game is called Time Slip. You control a snail through some platforming levels, collect coins, and find the exit. The gimmick is that every so often a past version of yourself appears and repeats actions you just did, which you use to solve puzzles such as opening a door that requires you stand on a button. But should you collide with the past self, then it's game over. As with all Net Yaroze games, these are not demos but the full games. We've now seen everything Disc 106 has to offer. There's some good games here, and some not so good games. It seems that most of these games are from earlier discs in the magazine's life. Check my playlist to find coverage of all the discs these demos were originally from. The next disc is racing and fighting themed. Subscribe if you want more classic PlayStation demo action. I'm the Advocate, and swinging those enemies around in World 9 was hilarious when you dropped them into a spike pit.